What's going on, everybody, man? How is everybody doing today? I'm doing really good for the simple fact that yes, the camera is back home, y'all. $400 later, and we are back with my main camera back in the mix, and I'm loving the way the footage looks so far in the little screen that's on the camera. Did I ever tell you guys the camera that I'm using? I'm using a Sony ZV-E1 full frame camera. That's what I use, and loving how this thing has been running. I'm still, learning more and more about it to try and improve the quality of my videos so you guys can see them. But just let you guys know, camera's back, using it, testing it, for to see how it goes. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. But today we're going to resolve. Well, we kind of resolved it already, but resolved the issue with the mirrors and my plan to change up the exterior look of the car, which is really, I'm gonna have to get into why I chose what I chose. And there was another subscriber, man. He put in there to get the to get a different style mirrors. We'll talk about that in a second. For right now, let's take a look at the bench so you guys can see close up exactly what I have. All right, y'all, so this is what we have here. So with this one, I went with the APR, you can see me, the APR carbon fiber mirrors. So a little weight reduction, but I don't think, but then again, the actual base parts of these got a little bit of weight to it. But I kind of went with these because it's gonna pretty much change the look of how the car looks with these mirrors on there. So we gonna see, man. I'm pretty excited about putting these things on there and what it's gonna take to put them on there. But this is what we got. Here's the carbon fiber on there, man. Look at how good that looks. So this ought to be a nice little addition to how the car looks, man. So let's go on ahead. Let's get into it. It came with everything, the brackets that I'm gonna need to put it on there. Now I will be needing to take off the there's a rubber grommet, but y'all will see that whenever we get to taking the stock mirrors off of there, and you guys will see how that'll look on there. But these look good, so let's see how well they fit from a fitment standpoint and see if I made a good decision. I think I'm gonna be good to go, but let's go ahead and let's get into it. But first, before we get into doing the install, I did tell you guys that there was another one suggested by one of you guys to get the JDM retractable heated mirrors, which I didn't think about it at the time when I was buying these, because I was just like, man, I need to get something else on there. And the first thing that popped into my mind when I did think about getting these mirrors was having something different to make the car look different. I'd have got the JDM ones. They would still look like the same mirrors. They would just kind of retract in, whatever. And did I really want that? Sounds cool, still sounds cool, but I want to change the overall look of the car and kind of stand out a little bit. I don't see very many, WRXs, at least I haven't, that have the APR mirrors on them. So, like I said, I want to do something a little different. I appreciate the suggestion. After you would have said, if I would have been suggested those before I bought these, I probably would have really gave those some serious thought. They do cost slightly more than these, but of course that's because they're heated and they got the motorized function and all that. These are just, you set them and then that's it, which I'm kind of good with. Ain't no big deal. But that's kind of the reason why I went with these, because I want to do something different as far as from how the car looks and just do something a little outside the box, though, outside the norm. So that's kind of the reason why. I just want to let you guys know that's the reason why I went with what I went with. So let's go ahead and let's get started on trying to get this thing installed and on the car. All right, y'all. So I had to had to step out for a second. Had to go pick up the kids, but I'm back. But while I was away, before I left, I was able to get one of these things installed. So I'm gonna show y'all this, show y'all what it looks like. All right, so here we go, man. This is what it is looking like right now. And it is pretty small. And this is gonna take some getting used to, but it looks good. It's gonna take some getting used to as far as for looking at too. But that's it, man. That's it. Wasn't too hard to install. And don't worry about it, I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. I just wanted to kind of knock it out so I can just come up with a game plan as to how I want to lay it out to you guys on how you get this thing installed. So let's go over here to the other side of the car here. You see, I'm trying to get everything kind of set up right here for you guys. But the first thing we need to do is we're going to have to actually put the mirror together. So let's come on over here to the bench. And then we got all of the pieces right here. So we're going to kind of lightly put this thing together. And then it comes with all the Allen wrenches and everything you need to put this thing together. All you really, and other than the tools that they give you, you're gonna need a 10mm, an extension, ratchet, and an 8mm box wrench. But let's go ahead and let's get this thing put together, and then we'll start with this. We'll take everything apart on the car to kind of get this thing put in and show you guys how to do that. So let's get started with that. All right, so let's get this assembly together. Now, it does come with instructions on how to do all of this and pretty much how to put it together. This is the base. It already comes, it says 2 bolts in here, but it's really 3 bolts. As you guys can see, there's 3 bolts on here. These stay in there. And then you have this part right here, which is the base that screws into the actual mirror housing or the mounting bracket. And then this is the actual mirror itself with the little shaft that goes in there. And that's everything we got right here. So let's get these things out of the bag here. Already has the bolt that you're gonna need for the top right there. And this is what we're gonna need for the actual base. Now it also comes with 2 of these little top extension parts. So technically we can actually put this in right now. So this little piece right here, that right there, is basically what sits right up here at the top. And then that's where this bolt right here is going to come in at. This will go right in at the top. So if I can get this thing out of here. And use the supplied Allen to get that out of there. Then that's out of there. And then that goes right in there. It's coned and recessed so that it does go inside of this little piece right here. And then this section right here goes into this. There's a little rubber grommet right here. So that's just gonna go right on into there. Now, you can put a little lube on this to kind of, to have it be a little bit easier. Put a little lubricant on there. And run that bad boy through there and the shit slide through. That slides through much easier. It's gonna go on this side. It's gonna go here. And you run it all the way till it hits to the top part right there. And then at that point, you put your bolt in and get that thing started at the top. There we go, we got that started. So everything else right there. All right, so now from here, this piece right here is what's going to screw onto this piece. But before we put this on, let's go on ahead and we'll take this apart. So now, how the instructions say do it, it has a couple of washers on here. Okay. So this washer, the bigger one, stays on the bolt. This little cone shaped one right here, it goes right inside of there, like so. And then from there, you run this. The bolt's gonna come in right through on the back end, just like that. Back there. And then from there, you just screw this section on. Okay, once that's on there, we tighten this up.
where it's at. You should know I got it in the bag.
All right, there you go. That's tight. That's on there. That's not going anywhere. And then this right here is where you do your adjustment, at which there's another locking nut right there that kind of locks this shaft in place when you're adjusting it. Now, I will tell you guys, when I was trying to adjust this mirror on there, man, it took me a while, and I still don't think I got it all the way right. But just once I get it where I want it, it'll be perfectly fine. Then at that point, you have this piece right here, and once you tighten this up, you tighten this little back, this base, this little black part. This doesn't move anymore, and at that point, then you can thread the mirror onto this. And then there we go. The mirror's on there, and then it has this little locking nut right there, which is why you need your 8mm to thread this right onto there like that. Then you thread this guy down, and like I said, they gave you another Allen wrench for this little set screw to lock this in place whenever it's already set. But for right now, we're just gonna lock it in place like it is right there. And then the next thing we gotta do is we gotta set up and just take the door apart, take the mirror out, and then we'll go from there. All right, here, y'all. So now taking this door apart. To take the door card off, all you really have is 2 bolts and a whole bunch of clips holding it on. So it's a bolt screw right here behind that panel right there. There's one there, and there's one right down here in a little arm piece. You can grab your little flat head. And at that point, because I don't want to try and do this with one hand, and I don't want to hold the camera and drop it. And then all we do is take these 2 bolts out.
Really got it in the bag every day.
All right, there's one bolt out. Get this guy out right here. All right, both of those are out. Now the only other thing you got to do is right down here. There's a little lip right here that you can kind of grab right back there, right about where the corner of the speaker is, and just pull it out. Pop it out right there. Get in the middle. Like I said, slide your fingers up here on the side here, and then just there we go. That should be all of the way loose. And then at that point, only other thing you have to do then is lift the door card up. Do I got another clip in there? No, I don't. Okay. It's up and down and out. And then there you go. The door card is removed, and only other thing is to make sure you get all these little clips out, like this will stay behind. I got one back here. Got him out. Other clip is right here. Pop that guy out of there. Put him where he goes. All right, y'all. So the next thing we got to do is we're gonna have to peel this little this moisture barrier off of here. So it's got the little sticky, tacky stuff on there. So we really want to try and take that off with the plastic and make sure it sticks to it as best you can. You're not gonna get all of it, but we just need to pull this down a little bit.
New purse, ay. I don't get in my feelings, I just get in my bag.
Now, we also need to get this connector off, because this right here is the connector to your mirror. So we're gonna pull this off, and you gotta press this in. Best thing you can do is get a flat head, push that button in, and then just kind of wedge it out. Uh-oh, it went right back in. Push that button, and then just work it out. Get your flat head, and then pull that guy out of there. All right, so that's out of there. Then the next thing we gotta do is pop this connector off right here. Got that off, and now we get a little bit more space with this guy right here. So now that we got that off, we can push this plug down. Let me see if I can get you guys in here a little bit so you can kind of see. So, as you can see right here, this is where your 2 screws are here, and there's 1 screw right in there. And right down there is where your cable goes to your mirror. But you want to push that down and through the hole down here at the bottom down there. push that guy right on through there. See if y'all can see that or not. See, it's 2 bolts there, and there's one right up in there, right there. So let me show you guys what I'm gonna do here. So what I have is I put some blue tape around that just to make it a little stiff, so that it doesn't. So when it captures the bolt, so that it doesn't drop inside the door. So that on this side, you can kind of put your finger up here at the top part, and you can guide it out to make sure that it doesn't fall. And in here, you should be able to get your finger in here while you're unscrewing this and pulling this out. The way then you don't drop the bolts down in there. And like I said, the tape kind of keeps the bolt in there and doesn't let it slip out. Okay, so now that we got that out here, there's some things we're going to need off of this. And we're going to need this, where is it? Right here. This rubber grommet that's on here, this little insulator. This needs to come off, and we're going to transfer it over to here. Now what we're going to wind up having to do is this little tape right here. We'll take this piece of tape off of here and expose this. And then at that point, you get your razor blade. And then you're gonna have to cut the rubber right there on the sides. I did one on this side on the last one, and then on this side as well, to kind of open it up to be able to pass the connector through. All right. So now let's slide it off. Just had to open it up a little bit more, and then there we go. All the way through. Put that guy to the side, and then all we're doing is you just putting this right on top of here. And then there we go. And then at this point, you're going to reuse the same 3 bolts we took out of here to get the stock mirror off. Those are going to go right back in here. So all we got to do is fish those things through one at a time. Start the threads on them, and then at that point, tighten it up, and then we'll go to what I think is the hardest part, which is adjusting this thing to where you can see out of the mirror. So let's get that cracking.
Let me see you drop, get down in the car, one time give it all. Let me see you drop.
All right, so there it is. Mirror's installed. Now all we got to do is put the door card back on. But before we do that, let's put our moisture barrier back on here. Like I said, that can just stay there. It'll be fine there. Oh no, we plug it back in. The little connector right there. We lift this back up. And then we put the rest of our moisture barrier back on here. Then at that point, you lift this thing, your door card up, hook the top piece into the top portion up here. Once you got that in, the only thing you got to do after that is just push this thing in. Yep, we are all in, all the way around. And all we got to do, put our 2 screws back in, and then we got to get to the hard part, which is going to be adjusting the mirror, because I think maybe it'll be easier on this side because it's the driver's side and I can get to it pretty quick. On the passenger side, you got to kind of get out. You got to come back, sit down, and check it, go back out, adjust, come back and sit down.
Bust it open, huh? Let me see you drop.
All right, y'all, so there we go. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So definitely gonna have to get used to this. These are really small mirrors. And there's that one over there. I think I'm gonna have to adjust that one a little bit more, but that's what we're running with, man. Not, like I said, not too bad of an install.
She just hit me with the blue veins, that she gon' ice cold, ice cold. She just hit me with the blue veins, that she gon'
tenancy. They better be back, so relax. I'm on.
All right, fam. So there you go, man. The APR GT3 carbon fiber side mirrors. Got them on the car. It's gonna take some getting used to, but it is a different look. I'm kind of digging it. I'm gonna give it some time, but I'm gonna give it a little bit more adjustment. I'm gonna drive around on it for a while. I give you guys like an update video on how they working and how they handling, you know, driving, and make sure they're not like, because of the wind, might automatically adjust themselves, or maybe I just need to tighten them up more. I don't know, but happy with them so far, just for how they look. I haven't really drove around when it's kind of late right now, so I'd rather go out and look at it in the daytime, and then I look at it at nighttime. I want to make sure I'm used to it in the daytime and have them set right before I get to use them at nighttime. So, but that'll be an update video for later on. Appreciate you guys, man. Like I said, not that hard to install. You will be reusing your other stuff. I have lost the opportunity to use power, you know, adjustments, but hey, in my day, we have to manually do it anyway. So these are cool. I kind of like I said, I am digging them, but it's gonna take some getting used to because it's a much smaller mirror. They do have the little film on there, so it's like kind of got the little tint on it, so you don't get that glare. Good product. Fitment was perfect. No issues there. I really don't have nothing bad to say about them so far. So like I said, I'll be giving you guys an update video on how it's going. Appreciate y'all again. Thank y'all for your support, hanging out with your boy, listening to me talk crazy, and going there with me on my trials and tribulations of owning a car, trying to grow in this piece, man. Appreciate y'all, man. So thank you. I will link it in the description if you guys are interested in getting it. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just saw these and was like, ooh, try something different. Let me get them. So like I said, before you head out there and get it though, let me ride on it for a little while, see how it feels. I give you guys an update video after riding on it for like maybe a month or something like that. Or, you know, if I got anything else to say before then, I'll let you guys know. So again, y'all, appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining me on this journey, dude. And make sure that you do like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit all so you get notified whenever I put out a video. And until that next video, fam, peace.